So in the last video, we ended off by starting off creating the user interface. In this part of the video, we're going to finish it off and continue to the code, which you will see and where we'll implement the three main functions to our app. See you guys there. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support the channel, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Okay, so now we can continue. So some of the changes I made right now were I added a layout weight of 1. This layout weight of 1 will allow me to create this separation between these two buttons and also have a equal amount of width of each button in the screen. So I added a layout weight of 1 to the button deposit and to the button withdrawal. Now besides that, now we can move on. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support the channel, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. What we can do now is just go back to our see my balance button right here, and we can add see my buttons button right here, and we can add a text size of 25, just like we did to the other ones. And that will create a little bit more of a space right there. Okay, now we got that done. Now we can move on to our next part of our user interface. Now we're going to get out of this linear layout and we're going to create a text view. And for its height, we're going to choose grab content. Same will go to its width. So both be wrap content, and of course we're going to give it an ID. The ID for this, since it's text view, we can use TV for short. And here we're going to have a TV, a text view, and here we want to display the balance of the user. So we're going to name it my balance. And that we're done creating the ID, we can go to here and click layout gravity and choose center, and now that will center this text view inside the middle. After we're done with that, we can add a margin of 10 dp. So layout margin 10 dp. Okay, we're done with that, and we can add some color to this. So color, and we can add some color, and we're going to choose the same color that we had before. So we're going to choose white. Then we got text color white, and what we're missing here is just text. So for this, we're going to say text will be just my balance. Okay, now we got this right here. Now we set its width, its text color, and now we can go to a text size of same as other ones, 25 SP. Change the width to a match parent, and I also added the text, and also added the text to my balance. Let's take out that color that I previously added, which was white. For now, let's leave it as black so that we're able to actually see the text. So now we can move on to our next text view, which will be below this one. And that text view is going to be choose amount. We just told the user to choose the amount that they either want to deposit, that we have right here, or they want to withdraw. It will work for both buttons, and it will be useful, as you'll later see on our code. So we can change this thing to TV, choose amount, and if to match parent. Okay, now we have that done. We can now say that we're going to add a layout gravity, and the layout gravity we're just going to center it. So we're going to center our layout, and then we're also going to center. We're also going to use the gravity to also center the text inside the layout. The layout gravity centers the layout, whether it's a view or text, and the gravity centers what's inside the view, which in this case is the text. So now we can move on and we can add more other attributes such as you can now add that layout margin to add some separation between our views, make it look more clean as well, and as well as a padding and of course change this text to we previously said it choose amount because in here we're going to tell the user to just choose a specific amount of money that they either want to deposit or withdraw. So now we're going to say Android colon text size which will allow us to adjust the text size. And since we use 25 for the other ones, we can use 25 SP here too. So add some. So now it's more clearly visible and the user can clearly see to choose amount. So now that we're done with that, we can move on to our next one. And the next one is going to be edit text, which in here is called plain text. The edit text will be fundamental as well because the edit text allows us to take that input from the user, just like we did to take the user input and either deposit that to our balance or take it out. So now that we included the edit text into our user interface, a short acronym for edit text could be is ET, and we could say this ET user user input. We could change the width for height. This actually let's add some 50 dp. Let's see how it looks. So it looks very similar. So for now, let's keep this 50 dp and see how it works on later on. We're gonna change the input type to or number, and we're going to add an enter here, and inside the text we're going to actually delete this text. We don't need the text, and we're going to say just like our previous ones, add a gravity so we can center all of this. Also send layout gravity so we can center the layout as well. So now whenever the user inputs any type of number here, it will be shown in the middle, not on the sides, which is what we want. Some margin, but we're not gonna for this one margin. We're just gonna have margin to the right and left sides. So margin for the right would just be 50 dp. Okay, so now we got 50 dp here, and margin for the left. And now that we got that done, we can make one more simple feature. Now we can add one more other attribute. And this attribute will be a text size. Of course, we want to make our text size look bigger. 25 SP, just like we did to the one. And it looks like we're pretty much done for this edit text. And we just need one more thing. Just like every other ATM, we need to have a submit button. So we're going to create a submit button. Go to the palette, click on buttons, and just drag this button below that edit text. Right now it seems like it's pretty big, so we're going to configure it right now. And like I said before, button acronym just BTN, and we can say button submit. We can keep that width, and we could for now, and that height for now as well. So let's Android text. This will be changed to submit, and we can do some margin to create that space between our contents. Margin of 60 dp. Let's add some padding. Some padding. That'll be 10 dp. 10 dp with the layout gravity. So it's basically, as you can see, it's basically the same process. We're creating that layout margin for separation of contents and creating some separation between these contents, and then some padding so that we can separate the view its borders. and then some layout gravity so we can center our layouts and also center text inside it as well. Once we're done with this, we can go on to the text size. Previously said 25 SP and a layout Android layout weight. Let's keep it consistent and do layout weight equals 1. Now that we got the layout weight as 1. So since we're going to switch to 0 dp, this is just because since we have already a layout weight of 1, pretty much it's going to take up the space that it needs to, instead of just having this layout height as, let's say, wrap content. Just let it take 0 dp, and at the end, let it take as much space as it needs to. For layout width, we can change it to 150. Let me just see how that looks. And that's much better. Now our button is way smaller. So right here, the button, you can't really see it, right? But once you enter on the Android virtual device, that button will be pretty big, and that's why we're keeping it this small right here. Okay, now before we even get to the coding, we want to first, you see all of these strings right here. We want to create a string resource. So this could easily be done by going into, go to values, create our strings, and let's start creating the strings. So we don't hardcore anything and have a string resource ready for us to use. So the first string resource we're going to create is the deposit string resource. The string resource by staying the string keyword in the name attribute and then giving it the value. And then here we create a deposit. So this was the string's name when we want to access it, and this is going to show up. Inside here it's going to show up, and this is how we access it by its name. I'm going to create another string, and this string will be name will be submit. So now we got deposit, submit, and as you can guess, we're going to have to add a balance as well, and resource as well. So now that we got those string resources, let's add one more string resource, and that would be, oh, actually, there's a couple more that we have to add. So we have to add a balance. No, my balance. Okay. And what the my balance will say is just my balance, then a colon, and then some space. So I'm gonna add the rest of the string resources. I'm gonna add the rest of the string resources, and I'll see you in a couple. Okay, so I added the rest of the string resources, and this is what I added so far: my balance, an alert, an unsuccessful withdrawal, a successful deposit, and a successful withdrawal. So if you guys could pause the video for a couple of minutes and just add this real quick, you guys can then move on. I will later on explain why we need these string resources and why I created them right now. But for now, I just want to leave you off like with the thought that these string resources will allow us to facilitate and access our code. And instead of hard coding strings, we can just access these strings by just by their names. Okay, so now let's move on. So let's continue. Let's head back to that activity main.xml and let's get rid of this hard coded strings. So we can easily now access our string resources by saying at string / my balance, and since this is BTM balance, we're gonna need the one that says see my balance. Getting rid of all those hard-coded strings. As you can see, if you guys want to slow it down later on in the video, there's no more alerts, and we can successfully move on to the other part of our UI. Okay guys, so now that we're done with the second part of our ATM project, we're going to move on to the third part, where we're going to add some visuals to our buttons and make everything else in the app look pleasant and presentable. Make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.